I'm going to go on a limb and guess that most of you are kind of like me, and you don't always have a full day to get out and go fishing and fish for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day whenever you want. Sometimes you get a few hours in the afternoon, an evening, a Friday, a morning. Well, that's what we're doing today. Today, beautiful day here, October, Minnesota. It's a little after 3 o'clock. We're hooking up to the Camus, and I think when we get in that situation, oftentimes we want to go to the lake that's close to our house that we've been to a million times. We know how to catch them, and we kind of shy away from fishing new lakes. So raise your hand or let me know in the comments or hit the like button if you're in that scenario. But today we're going to buck that trend. We're going to go to a lake that I don't normally fish, don't really have much experience on, and we're going to break it down and try to catch them in just a couple hours. But I do got a secret trick up my sleeve, and I'll share that in just a minute. Now let's get to the lake. All right, we're here at the lake. Somebody's actually pulling off, so we're got the boat all unhooked, ready to go. It's about 3:45. Sunset's at 6:30, so we got 2.5, maybe 3 hours. There's that north wind that the app showed us. But so before I got here, I did a quick little scout on the lake using the Omnia app. We're going to show you what I looked up and then what we're going to go out and attack right now. Here's the lake that I decided to tackle. And this is just a few minutes of scouting before we head out. It's kind of like, hey, this is a nice Friday afternoon. Let's get out fishing. Let's pick a lake close to home we don't know a ton about. Stack the odds in our favor. So first, want to make sure, look at the lake. What are the reports? Let's make sure there's bass in here, right? Let's look at the fishing reports. There are definitely some decent largemouth in here. So you can spend more time who's catching fish where. There's some muskies in here, some little tiger muskies. What can we learn? There's some grass just based on seeing these fish. There's some good largemouth, so that checks out. Let's go. It's early October here in Minnesota. Let's see what we can determine here. So some of this stuff we can look on our phone. Some of it we can look at the wind quick. Looks like we got a north wind. So we'll keep that in mind as we're fishing here. Like, we may want to make sure we locate some stuff on both sides of the lake, wind and not wind. On the computer, using the map study here, notice a couple things here. We got a shallow bay creek, influx of water. So typically in the fall, I'm looking at what's the couple things. Looking for the last green grass, which can be shallow and it can be offshore. And then I'm also looking for shallow hardcover where we still got water in the 50s and 60s. So I'm going to drop a couple points here on things that are interesting that I want to make sure. I almost create myself a checklist of things to look at out on the water. So I definitely want to take a peek. I like what looks this here. This you got a little inlet. We've got duckweed. There's clearly some grass back here, and then it forms a point here. I'm gonna turn on my waypoints, and I want to look at this little area here. We could name it. We could not name it. I'm just gonna create it. Let's look what else. Looks like we've got a reed island here in the center of the lake. I'm gonna turn that wind off for now, just so we can see a little better. Looks like somebody's fishing this spot here. But I definitely want to just take a peek at this reed island. So that's, we can even, right? We can, hey. And you can see there's scattered docks on this lake. We got pads down in this corner. Here's the boat ramp. So the wind's going to be kind of coming into the boat ramp. We got another shallow area down here. I like the looks. It looks like there's some pads here with kind of some little water next to it. So that's something I want to explore. I'm kind of giving myself a checklist. What is the best looking stuff to look? I'm not going to have a lot of time. I'm going to have 3 hours maybe to fish. So it looks like we got shallow water here. Shallow water. And then we got these docks look like they'll be calm and they'll have maybe some access to deep water. So it looks like there's a lot of docks that come out and that are pretty shallow on flats here. But these ones look like they have the deepest water. I want to make sure they can be on either, but I just want to make sure I don't miss these. The great thing is these are going to show up on my phone now. So the other thing I can do is look at my phone, and on my phone, I can actually use the Navionics within the Omnia app. So looking at here, one of the things I'm going to look for here And it won't really show up on this map because we can't pull up the map, but I'm looking for large flats, and there's a nice looking point out in the middle of this lake that I definitely want to graph here. So I want to make sure I look at that. And I can confirm here, and I'll show you here, like zoom in on these docks definitely have a little bit of deep water near them. So that's good to confirm that. Let's see what else here. Do we want to make sure? Definitely some deeper water off this point where I put that waypoint. Definitely want to scan around here. It looks like there's another hump here that we can now look in on this map. And it does look like maybe there is some reeds here as well. So let's mark those. This little finger might be worth a scan if they're out on the outside edges. I kind of like how this flat comes out from the corner. This looks like a good place to maybe like chunk a chatterbait or a square bill. All right, so I saved a few more waypoints on my phone. Now, if I refresh this, those waypoints all showed up. So these are the ones that I just put on. Like here's the weed flat I just found. Here's the other reed patch. I identified this as an area that I want to scan, confirm that this is going to be like just a good area here. This like bay out to this point, there's a nice drop on it. And I confirm these are some deeper docks here. Those will be calm. I'll probably also check some of these windy docks down here. So maybe I'll just, comboing between my computer and my, this will be close to the landing. I can either start there or start on the way in. And kind of give myself a little checklist of things to rotate through, make sure I'm not missing anything. Obviously, if we start getting bit, we can just kind of double down and run some of this stuff. But this works for like super big lakes, super small lakes. You could do it to like a little creek arm, tournament prep, vacation prep. Fishing new lakes doesn't have to be scary. And this new Omnia tool with their waypoints and be able to transfer them, back and forth to my phone. Now I've got this little checklist here on my phone of things I want to run. So I can see where I am on the lake, run to them, scan them, look at them with my eyes, fish them quick, and progress through my day and hopefully break down this lake. So we're going to head out quick, see if we can catch some bass. All right, we're on the water. Water temp, a little warmer than I thought. Still low 60s here with this warm sunny day. Air temps are probably high 70s. We're out on the lake. I think I'm actually gonna there's the boat ramp right here, and one of the things that we marked on the map was to try these boat docks. So I'm gonna probably try these like 5 or 6 boat docks right next to the ramp quick. You can see the grass here is a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, so things are dying off. But we're gonna test some shallow, and then I think if we don't get bit there, we're gonna head out and scan offshore quick. Not even gonna turn on the front graph. Let's see what kind of, let's try a frog here quick. Got some emergent vegetation right over here. Some scattered grass. See if they want it moving, see if they want it sitting still. First cast. Forgot to turn the powerhouse on. Might be able to flip some shallow milfoil the way it's looking. Might be a thing that we have to try here. Much prefer to see if they come up and eat a frog though. The wind's blowing this way, but there's enough protection from this milfoil to keep these pads and stuff pretty calm. That just looks just good enough. And with the water temp still being in the 60s, not afraid to throw the frog here. Try way up shallow, see if they're... I did notice on my local pond there's been some frogs jumping in off the edges when I walk the dogs around, so I'm thinking there's been a little bit of a frog migration, which sometimes will push them fish up real shallow. Nothing yet. Little minnow jumped. Might have to even slow down a little bit with this frog. It might be going a little too fast. Water's pretty clean. Probably in like 2 feet of water right here. Probably about to pick up a jig. Can't get it here. Alright. Putting down the frog, picking up the jig. This was good to me last weekend. Won the tournament on this jig. Get one way back in there. Huh. Swim it in that shade line. Swim it out. So the nice thing about a jig is you can kind of swim it, pitch it, flip it. See if them fish are hiding on the clumps. Had a bite in there. I don't know if it was real big or not, but we had a bite. That looks like a really good spot for one right there. Huh. Between the old ski boat and the tiki hut. Ooh, that was one bit it while I was swimming it. See if I'll pick it up. Alright, so that's 2 short bites here. Using this chunky D on a 1/2 ounce jig. I'm actually gonna fish just a couple more docks here. I'm gonna downsize my trailer here. I'm gonna trim it up a little bit. And put on a little speed craw or something, or a minnow scrub. Throw this minnow scrub on here. See if that slightly smaller profile turns those 2 shorter bites into a connection. We got our first bite. I was gonna basically say that was the last dock we were gonna fish. He ain't much. He's a little keeper. Didn't exactly crush it. Little 12-incher, little maybe a pounder. It's a bite. You know, you never know when your last bite of the fall's coming. So, but a couple more casts. I don't think there's actually a tree in the water up here, and I'm gonna fish that tree. But that's gonna be the last dock I think I fish on this side of this stretch of this shallow, weedier docks on this bigger flat, because I don't know, we fished like 10 docks and 2 small bites that I missed and then 1 little fish. So I think we're gonna go offshore. I'm gonna check this tree just in case wood is a thing, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the other 2 bass that I missed, or 2 bites that I missed on this stretch, were we're the same size as that fish, or same caliber of that fish. So not completely ruling out docks, but might be ruling out this style of docks, which are the shallower, flatter, weedier docks. You know, we're a good ways away from, you know, 5-10 feet of water here. So we're gonna try this one overhanging tree, and then, because you just never want to pass one of these up in the fall. It's a weed hole here. Let's see here. There's not a ton of trees like this on this lake, so not necessarily a pattern we can run, I don't think, but be a place to catch a good one. All right, we're gonna head out here, and this is that point I showed on my phone. You can see what it looks like on Lake Master. We're gonna scan and see what it looks like, and then we've got these reeds over here, which are this shallow right there, and that's usually indicative that there's some hard bottom in this area. So you can see there on my phone, we're the boat there, we're coming up on that, so that's what we're gonna scan. Here you can see there's our little boat icon. Here's the point for that mark we put out up there. And now we're scanning this to kind of look to see. There's definitely some weed clumps on this Sprite. You kind of got some firm bottom here. You know, you can see that hard return. Kind of up on top of it here a little bit now. We're gonna swing back out, but some good grass, firm bottom. And you can see right there, there's a little strip of rock right there. We can mark that little hard spot, kind of that little ridge. That's something we can target and come back and fish now that those waypoints are laid out on our point. We can put down our live scope, put down our 360. So there you can see how we kind of got close using the Omnia feature. Come in, use our side scan, dial it in. Now we can fish it. Right here, this chunk of grass right here, it's got definitely got some bluegills and stuff in it. There's a little bit of rock down here on the 360. We got it on the deep spot. Okay. A little guy. So looked around. Not exactly what came on for fall fishing, but got out about 12 feet of water, found the weed edge on this point. A little bit of hard bottom here, but see if we can get a bigger bite. We got decent green grass out here. Let's try a spinner bite. Got wind? Try a spinner bait. Yeah. Non-target species out on the weed line. Ugh. All right, weed went shallow, we went deep, went back shallow on the reeds, went back deep again. No luck yet. We're gonna go try some calmer docks where we got a little more shade line. We're gonna go try those kind of that deeper stretch of docks where we had a little deeper access to water and try that next. We are about halfway done and we got 2 little bass and a pike. fresh bug for the back of my jig. That's a little bit of this. Boy, them. I don't know if the bass shrunk in this lake, but unfortunately, that's the big one of the night. Fun. It's fun to get bites. You can definitely see here, we're in 6 feet of water. If I pan out, you can see there's a drop with grass, so much different bank for docks. So we'll see. So far, one little one. Oh, did I get bit in there? Sounds like a bite. There we go. A little bit better one. Not a giant, but healthy little keeper. Bass number 4. Back-to-back docks. We got bit on the Bass Tech jig. Went to a little speed craw. Not so bad. Get the feeling they're not exactly chomping. None of these bites have been amazing. Like, for as beautiful of a night weather wise, it doesn't seem like they are really chewing right now. Let's try a chatterpiece. Is that a bite? Kind of felt like a bite. Go. Well, on the weed edge here, out from the docks, fish number 5, all on the jigs. Little chunker, fun little guy. We talked about that good green grass in the fall, right? Can be shallow, can be deep. That's where these fish are holding. Alright, so on the scope, you can see there's a big clump of weeds here with some crappies or bluegills or something. So we're just going to pitch our jig out here, right on the back side of it. There's one. Is that number 7? They're not giants, but we're getting a lot of bites on this weed line here. It's working that jig. Try a plopper here. Just be a little wild. See if we can raise one up. It's been all jigs. So we definitely found fish there. A little bit of a dock thing, a little bit of a weed line thing. I want to keep running around because I could probably sit here for the last 30-40 minutes and catch a few more pound and a halfers, but I guess I'd like to get a good bite. So we're gonna go try one of the other deep spots at the mouth of that shallow bay that we marked and see if that produces a different quality of bite. Down to our last 30 minutes. Here we go. We go back shallow. Going back shallow, mix up some dock with some chatterbait. See if we can't connect with a couple more. Oh, I just missed a fish there. Felt like a really good bite. I don't know if it was a pike or a bass. Something absolutely whacked my chatter piece. Fish really haven't shown me that they're active enough to come up and eat a frog. But we still got 62, 63 degree water, and I'm gonna try the frog a little bit before we go in. This fish feels a little better. Got me in the pads. Get out of there. Come on. Come on. Ah, pike. Womp womp. Got me excited. I thought that was going to be the big one. The cherry on top of the sundae. I mean, I guess the tug is the drug, right? All right, one last move into the corner where the wind was kind of blowing earlier. See if we can't get any bites before we have to call it quits. There's a little tiny guy in the chatterwagon. What was that, number 8 or 9? Not a big one, but nice little bite. $6:40, 15 minutes after sunset. Wrapping it up. We caught 8 or 9 bass. I think all but one of them was on this jig right here. 1/2 ounce Bass Tech, black, brown, green pumpkin, little speaker on there. The jig is hard to beat in the fall. We didn't catch any giants, but for a quick little after work trip, we got a decent amount of bites. You know, 8 or 9 bass. Had a couple bites we missed. Caught a couple pike. Not so bad. Just kind of shows that even in a short amount of time, do a little pre-planning, use a tool like the Omnia waypoint, research tools. You can get on fish quick, have yourself a nice evening, and it doesn't have to be on the same old lake. Hopefully you picked up some tips that will put you on some fish, and you can use the Omnia tool for free. All you need is a login, and you can sign up for free with your email, and you're all set. I'll have links down in the description below. If you have not tried Omnia, you want to check it out. Also, there is a discount below that you save 15% off on any order for tackle. So if you want to grab some jigs like this, links down in the description below. If you want to see a recent fall outing where I blasted them, check out this video on the screen right here.